Good afternoon. This is Lo coming to you from Las Vegas Live. Thanks for sharing your time with us in our previous programs, and hopefully you will enjoy this one. We thought we have this Sunday some important news to bring to you and a story and share some our opinion on our, let's say for sake, political experience that we think which way the world is heading in the last couple of days. Well, unfortunately, we have no good news to tell you. The world is not heading anywhere that is that we may deliver to you in words as a healthy. The road they are taking is bumpy and uncertain. What I mean, the Yemenis junta, if I may as well call it that way, have used drones. How sophisticated or how primitive they were really is not important anymore. What is important to know that they have done a sufficient damage to the Saudi Arabia oil fields and one of the Aramco processing plant, which is capable to process 8 million barrels of crude oil to the consumption fuel to the consumer around the world. Estimated 5% of the world consumption in the daily. That said, it shows that I was correct for years. I've been saying if United States is not behind to back up and to protect Saudi Arabia won't survive a freaking day. And then recently Donald Trump has said the same thing. He borrowed my phrase, or perhaps he somewhere he heard it and I was saying, or he read it on one of my books, if he did, which I hope he did, and he said it himself. In the early 80s, I remember Israel wants to attack them, Saudi Arabia and dismantle them. Although US somehow stopped them, then let him do it. I wish that he did. Perhaps Saudi people will be much freer today than what they are today. They probably will have a democracy. I want to go through the small list of, before I turn the program, that I would like for you to hear. Rohingyas, Myanmar. Syrians, refugee, and Rohingya and Myanmar refugees. Iraqis, refugees. Yemenis, refugees. Libyans, refugees. Azerbaijani, Nagorno-Karabakh, refugees, 500,000. Don't forget that. It's been a long time. Kashmir, refugees. Israeli and Palestinians. Netanyahu just announced it again, another illegal settlement in the West Bank. I wish Netanyahu make up his mind. I know the Israeli people, more than 60%, close to 70% doesn't approve what the Israeli government is doing right now and what has been doing for a long time, in fact. Why not just annex all the territories? I've been saying this for years. Quit making the Jewish people suffer and Palestinian people suffer. Live in agony all these years, for 60 or 75 years. Look, you're not going to make mistake by making Palestine a part of Israel and giving them a full citizenship and participation in the daily affairs of a government of Israel. Israel is an advanced nation right now and will be an advanced nation for a long time to come. A prosperous country. Perhaps, maybe Netanyahu think that there is no need now to share a good life with a neighbor and his first cousin, Palestinians. That will be a grave mistake. Having an enemy in your backyard, and neither you willing to kill him, neither you were willing to feed him and clothe him and house him, in time, in future, all of that may backfire. So my advice or my opinion would be quit playing stupid games. Make Palestine a part of Israel and get it over. Some people will disagree because of the politics or the groups they demonstrate because they live from donation from other political groups. But I wouldn't care much about that. Make the Gaza and make the West Bank part of Israel and let that be a national border of Israel. You'll be better off. You'll be safer. That said, I would love to bring you back, guys, to this Rohingya issue and hear you. You can hear this. It will remind you from 1940s. A final solution from Hitler. And this is embarrassing for the UN. This is embarrassing for superpowers. This is embarrassing for economical powers like Japan, China, United States, Canada, Russia, UK, European Union. Here we go. Let me just click in so we can
to send tens of thousands of Rohingya refugees to a remote island by force, despite warnings from environmentalists and rights groups. Accommodation on the island of Basan Char has been specially constructed for the refugees. The government says it will offer a new start for the Rohingya.
Instead, sending them back to their country.
Bengal is vulnerable to erosion and flooding, and critics have condemned the plan. Our correspondent, Naomi Conrad, was granted access to the site.
This is really embarrassing.
In the world's largest refugee camp in southern Bangladesh, fear is rife. 2 years ago, the government welcomed the influx of Rohingya fleeing Myanmar. Today, it is planning to send tens of thousands of them to an island in an area prone to cyclones.
We don't want to go to Basan Char because it gets flooded and then people will die.
Of course not. It's a wasteland.
For them, it's another trap where they'll lose their lives. If we go there, we'll die. Help us to stay here.
We lost our parents and came here to save our lives. Don't send us to Basan Char. Just kill us here.
It's a below sea level.
No Western journalists have been granted access to the island until now. DW was taken to Basan Char by Bangladesh's Navy, which is overseeing the construction works. Throughout our stay, we were accompanied by naval officers. It took us 3 hours to reach Basan Char on a naval ship. The sea was choppy, but relatively calm for this time of the year.
What is the longest period that you think ships might not be able to reach the island and in really bad weather conditions?
If the cyclonic stormy warning, that maybe 1 or 2 days or 3 days maximum. Not more than that. And we have for the Navy ship, we have never stopped. Nobody will be evacuated from this island.
That is because the Navy says they have built sufficient protection against floods and erosion, including a 3-meter high embankment.
Just as I said earlier.
There's space for 100,000 Rohingyas housed in clusters of identical shelters. Human
So
rights
more than
organizations fear
more than 9 meters below sea level.
Detained on the remote island for years.
Sometimes this island is described as a jail. Does that offend you?
Yes. The question is the people who makes comment like floating island, unsafe island. Yes, they don't understand the island. They didn't see the island, and they don't know about the what facility we are providing.
The island's 120 cyclone shelters can be used as hospitals, primary schools, and community centres. To provide security, there will be police posts and cameras monitoring the island.
We will provide something to the Rohingya. They will remember it for their life. And if in the crisis, we help them. If they come here, it is paradise for them. There's no doubt about that.
From what we've seen, conditions here do seem to be better now, but questions remain around what daily life might be like. Will there be secondary education?
Well,
What will they do all day?
let's stop this and
Earn their living and
only thing that I will say that will add to this, that this is the UN and the world final solution for Rohingyas. And I will say shame on you, world. Shame on you, advanced countries, and shame of you on you people who have experienced the world atrocity like most of the Europe, most of the world, except Brazil and South America hasn't experienced, have not experienced the World War II and World War I because they were useless for that war. They couldn't even help or they couldn't even participate. And I'm not trying to insult anybody, but during the World War II, if you folks are not familiar, Brazil had one frigate, and that was like a national guard at the Atlantic Ocean. So Chile and Brazil had an imaginary superpower army that was fascist and a Nazis and a Nazi army that they didn't participate in the war. But sure, they glorified Hitler and Mussolini and Franco Spain and all of that. Now that said, UN and all of these so-called watchdogs, the groups they're supposed to be protecting, they want to protect Palestinians and Rohingyas and Kashmirians and Yemenis and Somalis and Zairian and Zimbabweans and South Africans and you name it. All the oppressed countries, Saudi Arabians and Israeli and Syrians and Iraqis and Afghanis and my God, how is anybody left? 700 years of oppression of Irish people in Northern Ireland. Not too many people remember that. And not too many people know or they have heard of potato famine. Half the Irish population from Ireland have disappeared at that time. And the queens and kings of Ireland for those 700 years, they didn't give a crap about it. And I have said, even in my articles that I have written in English language, 1984, I have said when George Bush was the president of the United States, and he was pushing so hard for the European Union to form a European Union, to put it together. Started years ago, but never got the way it should be. So George Bush was the architect, senior. I have written then, and I have sent then, even on my letters that I have communicated to many senators and to many, even the presidents, as George Bush. The UK will never, United Kingdom, will never be a part of Europe, even no matter what you do. And European Union will break apart because United Kingdom, even if they go in, they will never abandon the British currency, pound. And a British Queen Elizabeth picture to be taken out off of the currency, you gotta be joking. And Brits, they don't even consider themselves European because they consider themselves pure white people and superior from the rest of Europeans. And the only reason they feel that way during the colonial time, they felt that they are rulers from sundown to sunrise, or from sunrise to sundown, either way you go. But then the free food and spices and the taxes collected used to come from all the parts of the world that was colony, from Canada to United States to Australia to New Zealand to Pacific Islands to India to Kingdom of Siam, which is now Bangladesh and East Indies, and also the Thailand. Tens of thousands, millions of tons of rice and spices and currency and silver were delivered, and gold, from those colonies to United Kingdom, and they were living good. And then somehow all of that have got to their heads, and especially after they conquered Egypt and North Africa, really everything got in their heads. It's not their fault. I'm not saying it's their fault. If they can conquer 500 million people, then with a couple of ships no bigger than when Columbus discovered America, then it's their fault. It's not their fault. It's the fault of the people, like in India or Taiwan or Thailand. I mean Thailand and all those other colonies they've been conquered. These days, there is no more colonies, but the government and the United Kingdom has lived well, and they're still living well because they still hold a monopoly, and in a post-industrial revolution, let's say the beginning of combustion engine, heavy industry, manufacturing the railroad tracks and cars and whatever else is needed. Now we got a Brexit. Now we have a country that is splitting up apart. The Scotland want no part of them. Northern Ireland want no part of them. Wales want no part of them. And England reminds me of Serbia. Greater Serbia, Greater Southern Slavs, they renamed it in Yugoslavia in 1918. Then Tito took over in 1945. They kept it as Yugoslavia, although they used the sticks and stones to beat the people to death to agree to keep the country together, kingdom together. That's what was left after the World War II. United Kingdom, in no time, I predict in 50 years or 25 years, not to exaggerate, United Kingdom will be or in a civil war, another war with Scotland, or they will peacefully give the Scotland independence. One way or the other, independence of Scotland is unavoidable. And the United Kingdom will be just a little vassal. Then it will change the name from United Kingdom to Britain. I don't wish him a harm. I don't wish him anything bad. What I'm just saying, no one in the world, I have never heard that if you light a candle just do after the sundown, right after the sundown, that candle have never burned till the sunrise, because it seems it never had enough stuff or a fuel to burn to the light of the day. I mean sunrise. Everything else like that in life is England, US, Russia, Israel, Saudi Arabia, France. They have waged the world in the last 60 years. Every poor country around the world has been stamped and spit and chewed and cursed by these countries. And Canada and Australia somehow always follow their godmother or godfather, UK or US in that fact. Are we really saving the world from Armageddon or disaster? Just look who are we beating up all these years. It's all countries they are not developed, countries they are illiterate, countries they have no chance to defend themselves, countries that they have so much internal problems. We have attacked every country in South America. We have attacked every country in Asia. We have attacked every country on East and West Indies. I mean, all of these countries that I have mentioned, big superpower. We have attacked every country in the Middle East and conquered them one way or the other. Or just to have them under our foot, or to make sure that their resources are cheap enough so we can still live good. We can eat better than they are. I'm not saying that's our fault. But even that I don't agree with that, I'm still saying we have no right to do that. Japan has invested billions of dollars in the last 10 years in Myanmar, Burma. And then, a few years back, when China discovered the oil and the natural gas in a Rohingya province off on the shores of Indian Ocean, China is building the road and a highway all the way across the Himalayas. Doesn't matter, tunnel or a road or whatever, or a railroad, but China is coming in with a big port in that Myanmar province. So what happened? The Myanmar sends the army and kills 500,000 people and exiles more than 1 million, send them to Bangladesh so they can free the land from Rohingyas, and they can put all the Hindus and Buddhist people over there that they Buddhist temples and the Buddhist priests have participated in this crime. And they're supposed to be, they are bragging they are faith, religion of peace. Well, so much for the religion of peace. Of Israel and Palestinians, we're not going to elaborate any more on it because we have said enough, I think. Now, Bangladesh, instead helping the people with UN, I'm not saying that Bangladesh should declare the war in Myanmar. What I'm saying, Bangladesh is immoral country and they are not doing the right thing. If they want to help Rohingya people, don't send him on that godforsaken island that nobody wants to live, that is almost 6 meters or 9 meters below sea level. Even if a bird is flying over it, it gets overflooded and it pisses. If a frog pisses, the island gets flooded. And you spend all those millions of dollars to build the housing over there. You should mobilize 500,000 of those Rohingya men and give them arms in their hands and let them liberate their homeland. That's what you should do. It's a right thing to do. Screw the UN, screw the China, screw the United States, screw the Saudi Arabia, screw everybody else. There is enough able bodies over there, young and able bodies who's willing to fight for their homeland. But they can't go over there on a suicide mission. They get nothing if they get killed anyway. They're already out over there. 500,000 have been killed and 1 million have been displaced. In that million, you can find 250,000 or 300,000 or 400,000. They can level the freaking Myanmar army. I'm not saying send them over there so they can rape and kill and loot. No. They can fight man-to-man Myanmar army, and I know that Rohingyas will be able to outstand the Myanmar army. Because they are fighting for the righteous cause for their homes. And when you know what you're fighting for, you are a better soldier. Instead, you are helping the Rohingyas to go to the final solution like the Germans, like a Hitler, Nazi, and Gestapo did to the Jewish people during the war, World War II and World War I. Shame on you. Shame on you, UN. Shame on you, world. So-called free world. Now, some of you will say now, okay, what Angelo said just a moment ago, it's okay, but it's not okay when I say what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say that this group that is fighting in Yemen for their freedom and for their for the justice of their people, more power to you. Blow up the freaking Saudi Arabia to kingdom come, because they've been killing you for last 30 years. They've been killing you. That war then started yesterday. Yemen be fighting a war of separation between North and South, then uniting Saudi Arabia and being over there and killing you people left and right. Blow up the whole goddamn oil fields, all of it. Show them they are not invincible. No one is invincible. Perhaps this may start a revolution in Saudi Arabia so that people can get rid of the kings and princes and Salman and all of those cronies, and maybe people can have a freedom they deserve. They never had in history. And I don't understand our government really supporting Saudi Arabia. I never understood that. One of the most oppressive government and one of most oppressive group of people, countries over there in the Gulf, including Egypt, including Syria, including Iraq, including Jordan. The only democratic countries in that part of the world is Lebanon and Turkey. Come on, people. Quit lying to yourself. Quit oppressing 500 million people, the Western world, and my Christian brothers and sisters, and my Jewish brothers and sisters, and my Muslim brothers and sisters that lives on the West. Come on, rise up for justice of the humanity. All these years, for centuries, for decades, people are dying, people have been oppressed. The girl just burned herself in Saudi Arabia. And the only crime that she did was going in a soccer, pretending she's a man to go to see her favorite soccer team playing. And then she got uncovered and she was going to get prosecuted. And she was so scared from that, and she burned herself, committed suicide. Now you tell me, and that's not the first time, folks. In the 80s, there was a little girl princess. She fell in love with a guy, with the young man, and she and the young man got executed, public execution. They play in morality as a country of morality. I remember them, princes and prince of Saudi Arabia, they come to Las Vegas and stay in the Desert Inn Hotel in the Las Vegas Strip and Caesar Palace and all sands. And they have every color and girls over there, not in the tens, but hundreds for their pleasures. And when they go home, they playing that crap. And morally high morals people. Here, when you see them, they lay on a bar drunk more than anybody else. I'm speaking what I know, folks. I know Adnan Khashoggi personally, very, very well. He was perverted and nobody. And if people like him represent Islam, of all these kingdoms in the Middle East represent Islam, really, then that's not the Islam that I love and respect. And if it's a Christianity that Armenia and Georgia represent, that's not a religion that I love either. If Judaism is what Benjamin Netanyahu represents and his government, then that's not the Judaism that I love and respect. Is it really too much for UN Security Council to sit down, not to debate, but to bring the justice to Rohingyas and Palestinian people right now, and Azerbaijani people in Nagorno-Karabakh, to bring them back to Nagorno-Karabakh? They still live in camps in Azerbaijan. And to bring 10 million Syrian people and help them rebuild in Syria. And to bring all the refugees to Iraq and help them resettle on their homes. Bring the dignity to all of these people. And to stop bombing people in Yemen and bring the dignity to these people. There is more than 1 million hungry. And to bring the political settlement in the Horn of Africa. In both sides of Horn of Africa. You should guys know the other country name. If not, Google it out and see. It's bordering the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean. That's the mouth of the Red Sea and Indian Ocean. Bring the justice to Mindanao from Philippines. Bring the justice to Kashmirian people in Kashmir. And the 6 million people right now that India have taken citizenship away, and they want to send them where? They haven't found a solution yet in place. I gather they perhaps will. Are we really gonna allow this to continue, to go on? Are we really letting the history being repeated over and over again? That people are dying because of their colors, ethnicity, their beliefs. That's what they meant. That's what they don't care. I think we are, in that case, I will say that we are on a path of self-destruct. And all of this all of this advance that we are in science, medicine, agriculture, engineering, space, it's all worthless and it's all waste of time and it's all for because we will have no time to find another fellow human somewhere up there that we are already searching, and we've been searching for the last 50 years, and we are about really close to find out and to meet or our maker or someone who's as you and me and a little more advanced. And if we meet them with the attitude that we have and we have meet ourselves every single day, I think we are for a rude awakening, folks. The Star Trek and Captain Kirk and the Vulcans may have to teach us a lesson. Space and them over there will not be so kind to us when they see what kind of garbage we are. Let's hope that we will change by time we meet them or we meet our maker somewhere over there. Somewhere over there in nebula or a heavenly space. Call it anywhere you want. We are traveling that way, folks. And we're not gonna stop till we see the sign. Till we see the sign, stop, no trespassing. And I know we are arrogant enough not to acknowledge that sign, stop, don't trespass. We will make mistake and we will go right through it. Or it will be committing the suicide, or we will get prosecuted or charged by those who will be waiting over there to give us a citation by trespassing. We've been doing that here on the earth, in our planet, to ourselves, to each other. We've been trespassed so many places, so many ways, just to advance our individual cause. There were so many names that I needed to write down that I have said what I said at the beginning, what the program is all about. I honestly think that this thing with the Saudi Arabia right now, this oil, this garbage, beneficiary are the producing countries, and that will be Russia, United States, and Venezuela. The oil price will go up. The consumer like you and me will pay for it. Perhaps in a way Iran will be a beneficiary and Iraq. But I think that US and Israel know well that they don't want the Iran to be beneficiary. We really in US don't care much about Saudi Arabia if they're going to be beneficiary or not. Which Saudi Arabia have tried right now and decided to raise the price of oil. So what they are not producing, they want to compensate in that by increasing the price for barrel from 29 or 32 to 50 or 60. I think there is a consultation probably between the Israel and United States and maybe a couple other countries, perhaps even Russia, that since we are the biggest producer of the oil now and export of the oil, let's say, let's not be fool or let's not try to be stupid or ignorant. We are cashing out, okay? Big time. And we have released our national reserve that we have stored for emergency, which we don't have to do that. We got plenty oil now and the gas that we are producing that we can even export and have plenty enough for ourselves. 30 years ago, we couldn't do that because we didn't know how to frack. And now we got more oil than a grizzly bear has a hair on his back. Between Russia and United States and Iraq and Venezuela, we can flood the world with oil. So there is no big freaking deal that any of those Persian Gulf countries, United Arab Emirates or Qatar or Saudi Arabia or Bahrain or Kuwait or Iran in that fact, sell any of the oil on the market. That's all we have to do, just to change the partners and let them freaking drink the oil. But don't start a World War III. I ask my president, but don't start the World War III because of the oil in Iran. Iran then bombed the Saudi Arabian fields because Iran know that we would retaliate. And we have no business to retaliate for freaking Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is only a nuisance to us. Let Israel take care of that. And please, Mr. President Trump, don't sign the defense treaty of Israel. Israel goes on a war every 6 months or every year over there. And that means if we have a treaty with Israel, defense treaty of Israel, that he doesn't need, soon as the first freaking primitive rocket is fired from Gaza or Lebanon or Golan Heights, that means we have to get involved, and we are head of the NATO members group. That means whole Europe has to get involved, because if one is attacked or one goes in a war, everybody goes in a war. So how are you gonna keep that separate? You cannot, Mr. President. I don't know your national security advisor have they advised you on that. And Israel don't need for us to defend them. Israel is capable enough to defend themselves. Believe me. Israel just cried the elephant tears when you look at them. But when they turn their back, they're laughing. They don't need us, Mr. President. That's all they want from us, those $3.5 billion a year. I'm sorry. Don't mean to be corny. Don't mean to be insulting or anything like that. But between Egypt and Israel, we give these two countries every year over $5 billion in cash and arms. And what do we get in return? Just a lot of headache. Nothing else. And they make sure that we have that headache because otherwise we will have no reason to give them the money. Between Syria and Libya and Iraq and Afghanistan, I think it should be a good lesson. Let's not go and overthrow the governments. Let them take care of their own thing. When people get tired enough, they will all overthrow their crony kings and princes and generals and juntas and juntas. We don't need to do that. Only thing that I think we should rightfully do, help Rohingyas come back home instead of going on that concentration, help Kashmir decide their own future, and help Israel and Palestine become one state. There is no two-state solution. That is a bad solution. One state solution, one state, one confederate state of Israel and Palestine. On that note, I will close, and I hope the reasonable heads in politics and those who have a power to decide will do good for humanity. Thanks for being with me and sharing your time. I'm grateful. Till I see you again.